Hey, what's up guys, it's Renaldo here. So this video is going to focus on an individual that decided to purchase a car and then her employer started asking questions on how she can afford it. The owner asked for her bank statements so that he could go through it in order to see, how did she manage to pay for this, because the suspicion was that she was stealing from the business. That's right. Now listen. Anybody that knows me knows that I've got a very soft spot for people that work at a petrol station. And the reason for that is because for about 8 years of my life, when I was studying and as a part-time job worked as a DJ and as a promoter, I used to go to petrol stations quite often early in the early hours of the morning to go and buy food and also to stock up for when I wake up so that I have things. I had the best conversations with petrol pump attendants, with the cashiers inside, with the people that worked at the steers, debonaires, whatever it was. I had amazing experiences and they are the salt of the earth. So when this happens, it hits home because I know how those individuals were also treated there, and I used to give them advice because I studied in industrial psychology, which has to do with human resources, with hiring and firing. So whenever somebody is targeted in this field, I really, really get angry. And just to illustrate the point, this is Azeza Limelentaka, and as you can see, she works for Shell as a cashier. Well, she used to work for Shell as a cashier because she dropped this story, and this was shared to me. That is how I know about it. And you can read this story. You can pause the video and read it. But in essence, what this story says is that her boss called her in asking how can she afford a second-hand car, and he didn't believe her. And then eventually she took out her phone, showed her bank records, and that wasn't enough because he couldn't see on the small screen. So she had to send him her bank statements to prove that she could afford to buy that car. Now, I don't even want to get into how it has got absolutely fuck all to do with the owner as to how she can afford to pay that. And secondly, also another big thing here is the fact that you have the CCTV footage of when she works, what she does. You've got the printouts. You can go and check if there is dodgy things happening from her side via the CCTV cameras or from the till when she works on it. You do not have to go through her private bank information to get this. I'll just scroll a little bit if you want to get the last bit of this. There we go. So this is her right here. And you can see that she's quite active over here. She's got 36,000 followers. So, and she considers herself a digital creator. So obviously, I think she's using social media and she's earning an income from that. Now, what is really disappointing is the fact that individuals, when they save up, oh, by the way, she said that she's been saving up for a long time since she started working there in order to buy this car. So there is track record of her saving up money in order to get this car. And she wanted this car to run a side business, a side hustle, which is what most South Africans have to do in South Africa. Now, she works at a petrol station called Shell Garage in Maitland in Cape Town. That's where she works. And the owners of this petrol station is Berkeley Motors. So, yeah. Couple of questions for Berkeley Motors. What gives you the right to call in a staff member and ask them how they manage to afford things that's got absolutely fuck all to do with you? And how dare you call for the bank statements of this individual to go through personal transactions in order to see whether or not deposits were made into the bank account that couldn't be explained. Now, rightfully, she has complained about this, and the alternative that was given to her, listen to this, the alternative that was given to her, according to her story, is that she couldn't work as a cashier anymore. She had to work as a petrol pump attendant outside because with no evidence, the petrol station didn't feel comfortable to have her as a cashier. What does that say? Now, listen, I know that there's always two sides to a story, but can we agree on the following? Firstly, when you call in an employee, the first question shouldn't be, how can you afford to buy a second-hand car? Because it's got nothing to do with the employer. Secondly, it's accusations that are made. If you feel strongly that this employee is stealing from you, then you immediately provide her with a notice and you say that we're going to institute disciplinary steps against you because we believe that you've been stealing, and here's the evidence that we have. Calling somebody in without any evidence is breaking the law. And that is why she has decided to take this to the CCMA. Because whether or not she has been demoted, which you can't do technically without any evidence, the options given to her was, well, you can't work as a cashier anymore, so now you can either work as a petrol pump attendant or you can leave. That is a massive no-no in the South African labor laws, and therefore rightfully she is taking them to the CCMA, and I really do hope that she gets a wonderful payout. Now, one media house has jumped on it, and I will give credit to News 24 here for that. The information that I didn't have, which they shared here, the fact that in response to queries from News 24, Berkeley Motors denied any wrongdoing, also saying nothing was done without consent and discussions are ongoing. She has left out many facts that were stated. Nobody was accused of anything and she has not been fired, it said. Well, why are you asking for people's personal information when there is, when you're not accusing anybody of something? Asking for somebody's bank statements to go through it when they haven't been accused of anything, that is clear wrongdoing right there. And then also demoting this individual from a cashier to a petrol pump attendant, that's very, very clear that you've got suspicions and that you're acting on suspicion rather than on facts. When asked what prompted the investigation into Limelentaka's finances, Berkeley Motors declined to answer, citing the issue as an internal matter. Limelentaka said when she returned to work on Monday, her employer told her she had the right to refuse him access to a bank account and claimed he had received a tip-off that she was planning to steal from the company. Oh, okay. A tip-off, you say? Okay. I'm going to send a tip-off that you are planning tonight to dance naked in the street in front of the petrol station. Does that mean that I should give that some time of day? No. He then offered her 2 weeks of paid leave while the police investigated the alleged tip-off. Limelentaka declined the leave offer and requested that all communication and decisions be formally documented. That's right. So, you see, this happens quite a lot in that industry because a lot of the times the people that are being accused of things are pressured into positions that they don't want and ultimately then decide to leave. And this is how petrol stations like this manage to get rid of people. And I've seen it in the industry, not just in that specific industry. You get demoted and reasons like, oh, we need to downscale, but then a month later they employ somebody else in your position. And then you are like, well, why did I get demoted? This is tactics used by businesses. I've seen it time and time again. And I really do hope that there's going to be consequences for this type of behavior, because you honestly can't go through somebody else's bank statements on a suspicion of something that happened according to you, or a tip-off that you received. So I really do hope that this gets dealt with quickly, and that she gets the representation that she needs, and also that she gets the justice that she needs. So Limelentaka, I wish you all the best. I know that I butchered your surname a couple of times. I'm really sorry. But I do hope that, this petrol station run by Berkeley Motors is held responsible. Because even after a month of investigation, you managed to find something that you can use. The fact that you sat her down and went through that process, that goes against labor laws in this country. And the fact that she was willing to provide her bank statements to show this tells me that she doesn't have anything to hide. This is just a clear case of an individual trying to improve themselves, and when they buy a car in order to do a side hustle, and remember, the bank had to approve all of this, and the bank would have asked, where does this money come from? So the bank did all the necessary tests to see whether she can qualify. And the fact that her employer is now questioning her too, shame on you guys. Shame on you guys. You're not fostering an environment to uplift employees and to promote them. Instead, you shit on them when they want to improve their lives. It is sickening. And I really do hope that you get everything that's coming your way. And that's pretty much all I got to say. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please be sure to smash the like button. Please be sure to subscribe. And please be sure to share this video far and wide. Lastly, if you support my content, please consider becoming a member. You can do so by clicking the join button below. And that's all I got to say. Till later. Cheers and peace out.
You don't even know me, but every time you see me, you say, I wear my massacre. You don't even know me, but every time you see me, you say, I wear my massacre. I wear my massacre. You don't even know me, but every time you see me, you say, I wear my massacre. I wear my massacre.